Oh yeah, I've been waiting for this one. I really liked Afterlife. I thought it was a touching tribute and a fond farewell to Harold Ramis and a sweet introduction to a new generation. They face Gozer one last time, probably. The nostalgia and the references to the original didn't really hurt it all that much. It left me warm and fuzzy. And now we're in a frozen empire. Ghostbusters, Frozen Empire. We pick up a couple of years later. The Spanglers are now living in New York, taking over the family business. Everyone has grown up so fast. The movie opens with a huge chase scene through the city with a giant ghost dragon. I don't know, they come in dragon forms now. But they make a mess and of course they get in trouble, like Ghostbusters do.
You have a miner hanging out the side of a moving vehicle, firing a laser gun indiscriminately.
But there's a new threat on the horizon that could wipe out the world, or at least make it really cold. There are several subplots. Trevor, played by Finn Wolfhard, versus Slimer in a running gag where he tries to catch the little spud. EPA villain from the first movie, Walter Peck, is now the mayor and wants to shut down the Ghostbusters. Gary Gooberson, played by Paul Rudd, is trying the step-parent thing. Phoebe, McKenna Grace, makes a ghost friend, which has its own obstacles. And there's a new character that's a reluctant hero, kind of a guardian against that new ghost threat, played by Kumail Nanjiani, and I pray I pronounced that correctly.
I think we're all going to die.
Lots going on. And don't forget the original Ghostbusters who show up here and there. Aykroyd and Hudson are more active, but we do get Bill Murray occasionally.
Can I be of any help? Melnitz in uniform! Yeah!
And can I say how much I admire how jacked Ernie Hudson is? This man is 78. What's my excuse? It's nice to see them back in a supporting role. The thing to do is to eventually focus on the new generation.
Tall, dark, and horny at 12 o'clock.
And depend less and less on the OGs. And I was so relieved that the big bad wasn't Vigo. I know we had Gozer in the last one. It had a nice tie into it, but we do get an evil force who freezes stuff. He doesn't really show up until Act 3, but his presence is felt throughout. Thank God Patton Oswalt was there to deliver his backstory. And when he does show up, he's pretty intimidating. It's kind of a neat design, big horns, but otherwise kind of underwhelming. The other threat is Peck.
Dickless here.
His hatred of the Ghostbusters is unreasonable and one-dimensional.
This man has no dick.
After 40 years, still playing the same tune. There's a scene where Phoebe gets in trouble for blasting a ghost in public when there should be several eyewitnesses that could say that the ghost was attacking her. The writers are adding conflicts where it's not really natural. The effects are good, the ghost effects are CG, but they still maintain that practical feel for the most part. Slimer is way more detailed this time. More than I really needed to see. He's got junk in the trunk.
Overruled.
Sustained.
Thank you.
The filmmakers said the real Ghostbusters TV cartoon was an inspiration for this one, and well said, it feels a bit episodic. A little less epic, despite New York freezing. I'm sure there's a body count nobody is addressing. It's a tad more serious than a Ghostbusters movie should be. Some moments are pretty dark. It's got some comedy, but needed more. The OG was written by Dan Aykroyd, Harold Ramis, and Rick Moranis. You know, comedians, comic writers. These guys wrote comedy for a living. The pacing doesn't really suffer because there's so much going on. You're bouncing between one subplot to the other, and most of them don't really take a foothold. I actually thought Phoebe's subplot was the weakest. There are so many characters involved in the finale that it feels rushed, but it did hit all the marks. The historic moment, the loss of hope, just on the edge of losing, and then it ends. Everyone had something to do, but they spent more time battling minions than the main bad guy. Ghostbusters Frozen Empire is 3.5 Bs. Too many characters with too little to do. It rides on nostalgia, it brings in a couple of new ideas, but it still can't help rehashing others. In the end, it did make me smile and I really enjoyed it, even though I'm kinda tough on it. Because I only expect the best from a franchise that shaped my youth. Thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe, comment the bell, you know, the usual YouTube stuff. This is theNewBee and I'll see you later, kids. Toodles. I still liked it better than Ghostbusters 2. See you in the comments.
Bye.